Both of these teams are confused. What was very apparent in this game was that you've got two coaches that are still trying to figure out what to do with their teams in order for them to be successful. But what's almost irritating is that I feel as though the answers were right there and they were avoiding them. So I'll look at Mamelodi Sundowns first things first. Is Mamelodi Sundowns a possession team or a countering team? Because you cannot keep using players to 50% of what they can do. At some point, you have to go to 100. So if you're countering, okay, guys, we know that we can't pack the midfield. Let's just go on counters to allow Reyners and Matthews to run at these defenses. Let's allow the counter-attacks and transitions to be what takes us forward, right? If you're going to be a possession team, let's allow Aubrey to come into the middle of the pitch so that he can play with the other kids. Because if Aubrey's on the pitch and he's not that good of a defender, his defensive positioning is not good, but he's playing up the ball, he'll be playing up the wing and coming back down because there's nobody else to play with him. Cardoso needs to decide what exactly he wants to do with the Sundowns team. And part of his problem is going to be, are you going to be able to put some of the players down and say, guys, you're great players, but I need to bench you for now. You look at Orlando Pirates, and Orlando Pirates has long had a tradition that, guys, our wingers are our most important people. Whether it be Lodge and Vincent Pule and Rile, whether it be Saleh Nkota or Sibilibili. What Pirates has always done well is to be able to also come in from the wings, have your wingers go 1v1 versus the left and right backs. That is where Aborile came to prominence. That is where Abonkota looked dangerous. That is where Sibilibili looked great. And to their credit, on that side, they really used Sibilibili well, I think. We'll speak about Mamelodi Sundowns' defense soon, right? But you're going to keep losing Rile. And you're going to keep losing Rile because playing him inside or asking him to come inside is not what he's strong at. Urile was shining, Abotito was shining, because what used to happen at Pirates was that on the right-hand side, you know Saleng is going to try cut in and do his business on that side. But on the left-hand side, you could overload the right back with Urile, with Uhoto, and Dutito following up. I've long said that Tito, Machupa, and Rile can't play in the same team, especially if you're collapsing everything into the center. Pirates looked great towards the end when they started playing with a higher tempo and they started allowing the wide players to pull teams wide so that your central players can also find space. And that's where Abombule, that's where Abo Apolis and those guys became more active because Abo Sibilibili were on the pitch, which is something that you'd love to see more of. Similar thing with Mamelodi Sundowns. The chances where they looked great, you think about the Sales shot, you think about Matthews, the chance that he missed in front of goals, right? You think about those chances. They came from transitional play, where now you've got Ribeiro, a substitute, Usales, running centrally, and you've got the threat of the two players out wide. And because you have won the ball back a little bit high or you've played the ball a little bit quicker, Abombogazi have to pick and choose where to run to. And that allows either Reyners to come in and maybe play a ball across to Matthews, take a shot or whatever, or even Sales to come in centrally and take a shot because everybody's in 6s and 7s. But again, the theme of today is that you have to pick the way that you want your team to play, and you have to go 100% in that way, not half. Tactically, Mamelodi Sundowns still has an issue with their left back. The left side of their defense has been leaky, whether it's Bundiba, whether it's Lunga, whether it's AB, whether it's Lebusa. It's been very leaky on that side and they need to find a fix for it. In the first half, it comes down to Umudiba, one of the other confused players, where Umudiba, we know he might be good on the ball, but defensively is not quite there. And again, where you have to pick something in the case of Mudiba is, are you going to allow him to invert and take away some of his defensive duties so that he can help you with your build-up, so that he can play with the other kids? Or are you going to play him as a traditional left back, something we've seen him struggle with at Bafana, and have him run up the wing with no support up top, or run up the wing and have to come back down because you don't know what to do? There's a lot of confusion in these teams, and I think it's killing a lot of the players, because once we saw the pure essence of what these teams do, they looked great. Do you know why Pirates look great in the second half? Sibilibili is allowed to run, And because he was allowed to run at that Sundowns defense, who fell asleep, number one, who the coach has to be looked at for not realizing what was happening and providing support for that defense. But anyway, it was great because Sibilibili was beating his man on that side so much that it was stretching that Sundowns defense and allowing the rest of the players to now start playing, now have time, now have room, now have space. You saw Mamelodi Sundowns look great at times when, okay, it's either they allowed the possession to play. Allende was masterful in the midfield, playing the ball, right? But because, again, they are half and half in what they're doing, you look at them and you say, no, guys, this is not what they're meant to do. These teams have similar weaknesses. And if Sundowns had just orientated Reyners and Matthews to take advantage of the Van Rooyen gap and, more importantly, the Hotto gap, I think Sundowns could have done a lot more damage in this game, even though they should have done damage in that first half. You look at the other side, where I believe if Mfukeng was allowed to run at I think it was Grant, it was either Grant or Mtunyelo, to run at them directly, similar to what Sibilibili was doing, then you could take advantage of some of those spaces and the joy and the chaos that Pirates gives. But more importantly, what we saw today was the shortcomings of the two teams and the strengths of the two teams. One of the shortcomings for Mamelodi Sundowns is that it's great to hold structure in a game. It's great to be calm in a game and do all of that stuff. But when Pirates turns the volume up, as they do in most of the cup games, as most cup teams do, I don't think Cardoso is able to manage those moments. And that has been the undoing of Mamelodi Sundowns for a very long time, where you've been doing great for 80 minutes, but now the last 10 minutes, you're just been overrun. And Pirates could have scored more goals there. With Pirates, one of their shortcomings is that they can't play a calm game. So what helped them in the second half was bringing in Abo Mbule and Abo Apolis, and that sort of lifted the excitement of the stadium. I often look at Pirates and I always say, Pirates is an excitement team. Escotini, once they warm up, it can go from 0 to 100 very quickly. You can concede 4 goals. And that's what we saw once they started playing a little bit more livelier. Right? A little bit more free, a little bit more messy, a little bit more chaotic. Now, in a league setting, 1-1, the way this game ended, right, is not a good thing. It's not something that can give you points. In the league setting, most teams at 1-0 with Pirates would probably bring on more defenders and just seek to frustrate them for the rest of the game. But in cup competitions, that excitement is what gets them that last goal, that equalizing goal, the winning goal. And even on their side, they should have done a lot better later. So I'd like to just say that I guess the moral of my story today and my review for today is the answers are there, the players are there, but the coaches are letting the two teams down in the way that they're setting up. And I think it's killing some of the morale and it's killing some of the abilities of some of the players to play. Hard decisions have to be made. Coach Ouaddou, are you going to keep the old Pirates way of playing and stick to it 100% so that you can get 100% from Aborile? Or are you going to switch to the team that you've been picking and bring in Abombule, Nabo Apolis, and allow that individual brilliance to be what takes you over the line at times, to allow them to be a little bit free? Coach Cardoso, are you going to attack through transition, or are you going to play possession? Because I guess, unfortunately, Utemba Zwane was out of this game, and maybe that helps Sundowns a little bit. But are you going to play with Abo Temba Zwane, Abo Allende, Abo Banbane, the chameleon, and hold the ball in the middle? Or are you going to use the guys up top, Abo Reyners? And that necessitates different options. If you're going to play this possession-based slow game, Shasha is the best for that game. But if you're going to counter, Abo Mudiba, Abo Funeki, Abo Zwane, maybe, Abo Funeki. So these are the decisions that they're going to make. So all in all, for me, 1-1 is a fair score. 1-1 is a fair score. I hope we get a little bit better football next week. In the next time when they meet each other for the second leg. But that is all I have to say for this game. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everyone.